What if I told you that the SEO strategies that you've been using for years are about to become useless? AI is now deciding which websites show up, and it's not using Google's rules anymore. In this video, I'll show you why SEO is dying, what's replacing it, and how to make sure your site doesn't disappear. If you've been using and relying on traditional SEO to get leads and traffic, this is your wake-up call. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to prepare you because this shift isn't coming, it's already here. For the last 20 years, SEO has been built on a few core pillars: keywords, backlinks, meta tags, page speed. But today's AI powered search engine isn't using those signals the same way. Tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and Bing AI are doing something totally different. Instead of ranking websites, they're understanding content and recommending answers. That means if your website isn't structured to be easily interpreted by an LLM, like a large language model, it could be invisible. And here's the kicker: the AI isn't sending people to a list of links like Google does. It's answering them directly. So your website either becomes part of the answer or it gets ignored. Just to prove it to you, I want to share with you a little bit of the news recently that has been taking the world by storm. And this one is a headline from Reuters, and it says, Apple's plan to offer AI search options on Safari is a blow to Google dominance. So Google used to be the only search engine that would be the default search engine in Apple Safari on iPhones. And now because of the antitrust case, and Google has lost two antitrust cases because the US government has deemed that it is a monopoly. So basically, Apple is looking to, not get into trouble because of them having Google as their default search engine. And so now in this article, it shows that, they're looking and considering having other search engines, and they're all AI search engines. And in the article, it talks about that they're wanting to have search integrations with ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity. So this is a huge blow to Google, and definitely is changing the landscape when it comes to SEO and the way that your website is going to be found in different browsers and the way people are searching. Next, let me show you the top generative AI chatbots by market share. And this is a very recent study, and you're going to be shocked, I think, by the results over here, because in number one, it's not Google, and it's not any of the AI search engines from Google. So take a look. Number one is ChatGPT. This is in the number one position with 59.9% of the market share. Then next, number two is Microsoft Copilot with 14.3%. And then comes Google Gemini with 13.4. And then number four comes in Perplexity, 6.3. And then number five, Claude AI. And that's because Claude just recently added web browsing capabilities, but you can expect for Claude to take a bigger market share, I think, within the next few months, or maybe even in the next year or so. So definitely you could see, you know what, the writing is on the wall. AI search engines are the new way that people are searching, and you want to make sure that your website is going to be showing up in AI search engine results. And I'm going to be showing you how to do that in this video, and then a lot more videos to come. So next, I want to show you what it's like to search with Google versus searching with ChatGPT. And I think one of the problems is that Google is still trying to, hold on to both the old traditional way of searching, when you search for something and it's giving you, this page with all these links to websites and stuff. And it's also trying to bring in the new, which is with the AI search engine results. And I think that the result is really this disjointed experience that really is neither here nor there. And I think that's why it's losing market share right now. So take a look at this example. I put on Google, what's the best fitness coach in Santa Monica for busy professionals? Santa Monica is a city in California. So over here, you take a look. At the very top, it tells you for busy professionals in Santa Monica seeking a fitness coach, Vert Fitness and Sports Therapy is. All right. Now I had searched for this like about 10 minutes ago, and it gave me a different answer. It gave me a completely different person. Why would it do that? I don't even understand. And then over here, you have still this traditional way of looking. Now take a look. Hey, if you want to ask a follow-up question, what do you got to do? Or if you want to dig in some more, you got to click on this button, show more. All right. That's one click extra. You have to click on Deep Diver in AI mode. And you know what? This isn't even turned on by default. I had to click on this to make sure that I have AI mode turned on when I go to Google. And I think that by default, it's turned off. And now I have to click on dive deeper in AI mode, and I completely leave this old interface and I come to this newer interface, and it's just a very disjointed experience. And hey, if I want to ask for something, I got to come in here, all this stuff, and then you have to turn this on in Google Labs. So you could see it's just very subpar when it comes to searching and getting the answer from AI. Now compare this to ChatGPT. I copied and pasted exactly the same query. What's the best fitness coach in Santa Monica? And you got a much better result. You get this beautiful page. It has some images right here from the top. It says, if you're a busy professional in Santa Monica, seeking top tier fitness coaches, here's some highly regarded options for you. It tells you, hey, Tucker Forbes, here's another company called Ultimate Performance Santa Monica. You can over here, you click on it or you hover over this and it gives you this very nice card that shows you exactly where it's getting its answers from. It's seeking multiple answers and multiple sources from different places. So making sure that it can fact check each other. At any time you can share the page if you want to with somebody. You can also see how it's, what were some considerations. All the sources are right here on the side if you want to see and click on any one of them to go to a search engine result. And most importantly, as the search box down here in which you can ask follow-up questions. Something like this, you probably are not going to get the answer just by doing some more. Maybe you want to say, search for, the best reviews from all of these suggestions that you just gave me. I'm using a tool called Whisperflow just to speak faster queries. And you know what? There it is. It's going to get you the answer within just a few seconds, as opposed to, going into this discombobulated experience on Google. You have everything right where it needs to be on ChatGPT, and it's a seamless experience. And I think that's why people are leaving Google and going to ChatGPT. I think is the number one, as you saw in the market share, and they're leaving to also other search engines as well. Here are 3 red flags that your website isn't optimized for AI. First is that you might be seeing a website traffic drop, and this is going to be a big problem. And a website traffic drop is, basically showing you that, hey, you know what? People aren't clicking through to your website. And even over here, when you search for it on Google, it says, hey, Google algorithm updates could be one of the causes for that. Another reason could be that your bounce rate is going up. Now, your bounce rate is basically the rate of when people come to your website from a search engine, they go on one page and then they bounce and they leave away. And if your bounce rate has been increasing, then definitely that is a telltale sign that your website isn't ready for AI optimization. So you're definitely going to want to take a look into that analytics if you have Google Analytics, and take a look at your bounce rates and see how's it been doing for the past few months. Another sign that your website isn't ready for AI optimization is that you're creating more content, but engagement and conversions are down. So you're creating more content, and then after that, people just aren't clicking through it, and your conversion rates have been going down. If you're optimizing for that, or if you are checking for that using tools like Microsoft Clarity or Hotjar, checking on heat maps and stuff like that, those are going to be some things that you definitely want to check. So what is AI optimization? AI optimization is basically optimizing your website for AI search engine results and for your website to show up in AI as opposed to showing up for traditional search engines. And there's definitely some steps that you want to take. And I'm going to be showing you the steps that you need to take over the next few minutes so that you can make sure that your website will show up in AI search engine results. All right. And the very first thing that you want to do is that you want to use what's called answer first content approach. And it's this approach where you're basically at the very top of your articles, you're basically giving a key summary and an answer to people frequently asked questions and what they might be searching for. All right. So that's basically how it works. And so, for example, when you're searching, when we did the search for on Google for what's the best fitness coach in Santa Monica, you saw that over here, it came up with an answer, right? And you see over here that's already coming up with a different answer than the one that we saw previously in the video. So what you want to do is that you want to be able to, an answer first approach is optimizing your text on your articles and your blogs to be able to give answers that would show up in this section over here, whether it's on Google or whether it's on ChatGPT or anything else. They're basically all going to be looking to give the answers very quickly. And that's what you want to optimize for. So for example, here's an article on my website, swiftbestsupport.com, which is my web design agency. And right over here, I was talking about SEO dead, and I talked about, hey, search engine optimization, as we know, is getting disrupted fast. And then after I give a little bit of an answer about, what's happening with SEO, and I talk about AI optimization. So that's what you want to do at the very beginning of the article, because the more text at the top of the article, the more authoritative that it is, because, the web crawlers are able to see it very quickly. So that's why it's very important to do that at the very beginning. The next thing that you can do is to use H1 tags and H2 tags appropriately and in order. And this is going to be something that's really, really critical. So this is, for example, a landing page on my website. And over here, you'll see that when you click on it, you see that I'm using an H1 tag over here. So this is basically telling you at the H1 tag that at the very top of the page, that this is what the web page is about. All right. Now, there should only be one H1 tag on your page. Do not have more than one H1 tag. Even if you're trying to go for a design, and this is a big mistake that people try to do, they're trying to mimic this big text for the design somewhere else on the web page. So they just keep on adding H1 tags. This is a huge no-no when it comes to AIO, artificial intelligence optimization. Only one H1 tag. Every single thing underneath that needs to have a heading, should be an H2 tag. And if there's something underneath the H2 tag, it can be an H3. So here it is, the next item over here. You'll see that on my site, we went straight to an H2, right? If there was another heading in another area that talks about a different section, then that's going to be an H2. But if there's something underneath this section over here, like Course Creator Struggles, that would be another subsection, then that would have been an H3. So that's really, really important to do that. Now, another thing that you can do to optimize for AIO is to add a frequently asked questions block. So as you can see over here on this landing page, we added a FAQ question over here with, people's most frequently asked questions. And that's going to help it to rank higher in search engine results for AI. And it's going to help it to be able to gather that information and be like, hey, these are the questions that people are asking, and here's the answers. So AI is going to be able to grab those answers very quickly and have them show up in the search engine results. The next thing that you can do to make sure that your website starts to show up in AI search engine results is that you can add metadata to talk about your website and to include information about things about like your services, your location, or the different things that you offer, the products that you offer, or your different things that are related to your business. So if you haven't done that already, look into that. Just type in, hey, what is schema markup when it comes to AI optimization? And basically it'll tell you, and you can ask any follow-up prompts and ask it like, hey, depending on which website platform you're using, whether you're using WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, or some other platform, you can say, hey, how can I add schema markup to my website on this particular platform? And you're going to be able to get the answer, and you're going to want to go ahead and follow those directions. It shouldn't take too long, but it's something that's absolutely critical. And if you don't do it, you're going to get left behind. Next, you want to follow what's called the EEAT framework. Okay, it's spelled like this, EEAT. And you can do a search for it and type it in any kind of, whatever your preferred search engine is, and just say, hey, what is EEAT when it comes to AI optimization? But basically what it is that you want to show that you have experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness on your website. All right, because AI search engine results are really, really care about experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So if you can show that you have experience doing something, providing that service or those products that you do, you have expertise doing that. If you have trust signals like authoritativeness, maybe you have certifications in your industry, or maybe you have something else that you offer to show that you are an authority in that figure. And if you have like reviews, like Google reviews, or if you have Yelp reviews, or you have your on Capterra or any of those other review sites, you want to be able to add all of those things onto your website to show EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And that will cause you to rank higher because the AI is able to understand that you have these things, and it can verify it, maybe through backlinks, maybe through other means as well. And it's going to cause you to rank higher as this, AI optimization is, continuing to evolve very quickly. So here are some quick wins that you can do in order to get your website ready for AI search engines. And the first thing is take a look at your homepage. Can a chatbot easily identify what it is that you do on your website? this is going to be really important. For example, this is my web design agency over here, and very clearly the H1 tag says, turn your website into a 24/7 sales machine for your business. That's what we do. We focus on creating websites that bring in sales to our clients. So immediately any AI chatbot would understand exactly what we do. Go through your homepage and make sure that at the very top that it includes a headline that maybe is a benefit that within 3 to 5 seconds, any kind of chatbot would be able to understand exactly what it is that you do and what it is that you offer. Next, go to your blog pages or your articles and make sure that at the very top, you basically are giving answers to people's questions that AI search engines and AI chatbots would be able to understand and would be able to grab those sentences very quickly and very easily and put them in a search engine result along with the source. That's something that's going to be very critical, and you absolutely have to shift to this mode immediately, because if you don't, you're going to get left behind and your search engine results is going to tank, and so will your traffic. Next, you're going to want to install some schema plugins. For example, if you're using WordPress, and WordPress is currently the biggest platform that is used for website building, and it basically powers 45% of all websites on the internet, you can use a plugin like Rank Math in order to install the schema, like I was telling you before. Or another great one is also called Schema Pro, so that you can check out either one of these. If you're on Wix, Squarespace, or any other website platform, you're going to have to check with those platforms particularly. You can do any kind of search to look for schema and ways to add schema to that particular platform. And I highly recommend that you do that immediately. If you're serious about future-proofing your website, I'd love to help. Make sure that you visit my website, swiftwebsupport.com, to schedule a free consultation. But there's one more thing that you need to know. OpenAI just released a brand new shopping feature that could completely replace how customers discover and buy online. And it's not just for e-commerce, it's for everyone. In my next video, I show you how this new AI tool could completely kill traditional SEO and why this is your best chance to dominate search before it changes forever. You have to make sure that you watch it, so make sure you click now and watch that video immediately. This new AI feature just made SEO completely obsolete. That's the name of the video. I'm going to see you there, or you can drop me a comment about what you think about AI optimization versus SEO. See you in the next video.